heck? Okay, listen. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have an excuse. I'm really serious, like I don't. I don't. But it's okay. It's not, but it's okay. Anyways, hey guys, it's Kat. You ready to learn? Let's get into it. As I've said before, I have a series of historical shows that I rewatch every single year because it's just familiar and lovely. And so currently I'm in my Tudor era rewatch. I already did White Queen, White Princess, Spanish Princess, and I'm in the middle of the Tudors. I just started season 3. And I'm not gonna lie, every time I watch this show, my blood pressure just goes through the roof because there's just so much stuff where it's like, why are you doing that? When I think about scenes that really piss me off and really grind my gears and shit like that, I think of that one scene between Henry and Catherine when they're in like her room or something, right? And they're going back and forth about whether or not she was a virgin when they got married, because you know, Catherine came to Spain. She was initially supposed to marry Henry's older brother Arthur, but then they did get married. They didn't consummate the marriage because Arthur got sick and he died beforehand, and so she told before God that, hey, I'm a virgin. I didn't have sex with that man. And so the Pope said, all right, I believe you, gave papal dispensation for them to be married, and then that's when they got married. Henry is now saying, you weren't a virgin. She's saying, listen, yes I was 110% intact, a virgin, all of that. He turns to her and screams, okay, so you were a virgin. That's not the point. What is the point? That's the point that you're making? I'm getting mad again. But in watching this show and seeing so much stuff that makes me go like, when the fuck did that happen? I wasn't there. I don't recall that, like I was there in the first place. Today we're gonna talk about the inaccuracies of that show. And boy oh boy, because at the end of the day, it is a period drama, but also at the end of the day, there is some stuff they do get right. Is it the costumes? No, but the costumes are really cute. They are really cute. But like, I'm gonna put a picture up. This dress right here, I don't know where, who, why, how. They would have called her a witch and burned her like as soon as she walked out. Fuck it being purple. But let us begin. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just start with the biggest one, the most obvious one that gets me so bad. So obviously we know that in the Tudors it is played by Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Love him. He's great. He's a wonderful Henry. I hope he got an award for this because oh my goodness. It's the fact that he decided not to wear a fat suit to showcase the deterioration of Henry VIII, because we know, right? After his jousting incident in 1536, I don't know what happened. Because it's literally known that he was like athletic, loved to get out there, pump and iron. There was no skip day for him. But then after that incident in 1536, he was obese, he had leg ulcers, and he was eating until he passed the fuck out, and he stunk. By the time he was dead, he was almost 400 pounds, and he was so fucking big when they put him in that grave, in this little, what's it called, casket, and he was left in there, the bitch exploded. He exploded inside of his casket. What did they do that at? Throughout the show, Jonathan is like, you know what? I'm a baddie, and y'all are gonna see that. And it's like, cool. We can just watch, what's that movie? Mortal Instruments, and see with blue hair. You look great there. But it's just like, and you know what's even worse? I don't think I've ever seen Henry VIII in a piece of media where it fully depicts how just crusty and nasty he needed, like, to be. Like, when I tell you this man should have had Dr. Now knocking on the door, he should have had Dr. Now knocking on the door. Next, which I find really funny, Henry had 2 sisters, and it's really important, and it's kind of weird to like skip that, because him having 2 sisters is exactly why we had James I and 6th of England and Scotland on the throne after Miss Lizzie passed away. Listen, Henry had 2 sisters, Mary and Margaret Tudor, okay? And they blended them together for one character. Stars, did Stars make this? No. Showtime, what are we doing? Mary Tudor, right? She would... Coronavirus! In 1503, Margaret went ahead and married that dude in Scotland, and then she became the Queen of Scotland, right? Following? Cool. Once she married him, she gave birth to a son, James V. Then more time progresses, James V gives birth to Mary, Queen of Scots, right? More time progresses, Mary gives birth to James VI of Scotland and 1st of England, who, like I said, takes the throne after Miss Lizzie dies with no damn kids. I just feel like that's a really big character, but as fast as the show moves and how it's focused on really just him in England, I kind of get it, but I feel like if you're gonna do that, don't blend people together. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, Margaret was all the way in Scotland. He had another sister, Mary, who was still in England, and that sister, Mary, did marry Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk. But the thing with the Tudors is they took Mary's storyline and then put Margaret's name on top of it. So then we're just sat here like, well, wait a second. What you mean? Because we see this, they make her watch a Spanish princess who makes it all right, and it's like, now I'm lost. This one gets me real bad. Anne of Cleves was not ugly. Let me just tell you something right now. Hold on, put them up. This woman was not ugly. In my opinion, she was not ugly. I think that she just looked German. German people have a look, just like English people have a look. And back then, and then you couple that with her style of dress. The German way of dress is not the same way as the English way of dress, so maybe it was a little bit too much. And then you add the fact. That when Anne first got there, right? He wanted to see, he being Henry, he wanted to see what kind of woman she actually was, right? So this big old fat ass motherfucker disguised himself as a peasant, came into her room trying to get up on her, and she was like, you smell like ass. Can you please get out of my room? And so he left, and he was severely embarrassed. So now you have that like as your first impression, literally by your own fault, because no one told you to do that. I can assure you Thomas Cromwell did not say put on some raggedy ass clothes and go in her bedroom and see what's popping. I can guarantee you, him or Seymour. Me personally, I think it was probably like she saw him in person. Damn, you fat. I can smell you from here and I haven't even reached you yet. That'll really mess up the vibe. Like, if I can smell you and I'm at the entrance of Westminster and you all the way at the back and I can smell your ass, I don't want to kiss you. And I don't want to consummate this marriage. So but him saying that she was like a horse, or comparing her to his horse, was a little bit too much. That was overkill. You smell like a swamp. Catherine Howard, Epstein Files. So Catherine Howard in this show is depicted as 17. And it's very interesting when we meet her because, like, who asked her? Sir Francis Bryan, I think, asks her how old she is. And she's like, oh, I'm 17. This funky ass. Edward Seymour, right? Edward Seymour. He goes, I didn't know she could count. I'm surprised she can count. I ain't got time for you right now. So the show depicts her as 17, very, very girly, very, very juvenile the way she acts. She acts like a little spoiled teenager the entire time she's on screen, which makes sense considering her character is portrayed as 17. But historians widely agree that she was either like 17 or like 21 or like somewhere in between.
Either way, way too old for somebody 49.
We need to call Chris Hansen, Jadeon, everybody. Like, I don't... Math. The idea of him having a son. Okay, hold on. We all know in the Tudors season 1, like episode 2, I think, we meet Elizabeth Blount, right? So Elizabeth Blount was one of Catherine of Aragon's ladies-in-waiting. This is actually really, really true. She did have an affair with the king and she did give birth to a son, Henry Fitzroy, right? That little boy was acknowledged, but here's the thing. The show makes it out that he dies when he's like 5 years old or something like that, which is not true. He was born in 1519, but actually died in 1536, 1 year before Edward VI was born, and Jane Seymour's son. It's not exactly quite clear, as usually it is with these things, where it's like, oh, we know exactly how he died. No, the fuck we don't. We still don't know how Arthur died. In The Spanish Princess, though, it does show that Arthur died of the sweating sickness, but to be fair, they did get infected during an outbreak when they were married. Catherine survived and it was made to seem like he didn't, but then it's also debated, like, did he die from that? Did he die from something else? Because it's also noted that his entire adolescence, he was a sickly ass little boy. Like, one cough and he's... You know what I'm saying? But just like with that, we don't really know for real what killed Henry Fitzroy. It could have been tuberculosis, it could have been sweating sickness, it could have just been he walked outside in the 16th century and fucking died. That shit happened. But Henry Fitzroy actually lived through Catherine of Aragon's, you know, divorce and that whole debacle, and getting chopped up, and I think Jane getting married to him. I don't think he lived to see Edward be born. But he died at 17, he didn't die when he was 5. But that is all I have for you guys today. There is so much more stuff in the show that's inaccurate, and girl, I don't think I have the willpower. Well, I do, but I don't want to edit that long. But if you want a part 2, let me know. I promise I'll do it. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry this hiatus had sucked, girl. Listen, look, life, ooh, Jesus. But please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.